Okay, you've heard it. Ready for Me, Broken, and recently we've been playing this all across our network of stations, Breaking Down, and now she's got an awesome cover of an Aerosmith tune. I freaking love it. And I'm talking about Madame Mayhem. Thank you so much for being with us on Real Rock Nights.
Well, thanks for having me join you, and thank you for supporting my music and playing it. I really appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. I wanted to catch up with you about, oh God, I want to say it was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. You were doing some dates in Wisconsin, and I lived in Madison at the time.
Cool.
And I tried to get to, I think it was 3 of your shows.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up running into problems every time. And there's a little caveat to that also. I was watching one of your videos and I was like, hey, wait a minute, you're in a radio studio? And I was like, hey, wait a minute. I recognize I spent 7 years in that studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was you were in Madison doing a thing at JJL.
Yep.
Shout out to my friends at JJL. God,
Yes.
I had a great time with those people.
Yeah.
Now, Living on the Edge, and we're going to start playing this on Real Rock Nights, and I'm going to send it to our affiliates too and get them on this. This is, I love the way I listened to it, and it's like, you really made this a Madame Mayhem tune, didn't you?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, we tried, you know. Yeah, it's always fun to take a cover song, to take any song, but you really want to make it your own, but also not butcher the song. So that's always how we try to, juggle the, there's a fine line. And so I love how it came out. So I'm happy that other people like it too.
It's what would you say was the coolest thing about doing this song for you?
Well, I actually, this is interesting. So during this year, of course, it's been a crazy year. And I was going back through some songs that we had completed years ago in the vault. And this is actually a song from the vault that never made it onto any of my albums, even though it was finished and ready to go, because it was a song that I did live for like the first year or so of my career at every show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, the crowd really liked it. And we were like, oh, we have to record this. And for whatever reason, it never, it just didn't make the cut on the full length albums. And I never really had an opportunity to release it. And I thought during this crazy time that we're in right now, it really fit, what we're going through in the world. And I thought it was a perfect time to release it. And so it's for me, it's a little bit of nostalgia because I recorded this a while ago. And it's kind of exciting to see, how people are reacting to it now and really understanding, what I put into it even then. So I think the coolest part is it kind of reminds me of how I kind of got started in the rock world in my career. And what's really cool is one of the writers of the original song was my producer at the time, Mark Hudson, and he actually did this arrangement with me. So it was really cool to have someone who was part of the actual writing of the original Aerosmith song of Living on the Edge be part of, this cover that we put together.
Oh, you cut out there a second.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Now, having the original writer was that, were you influenced by him being around, or was it a complete help and kind of like,
I don't
were you
know.
kind of
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was influenced that much. I think it was more of the song is just that awesome. And I think it was always something that the band and I at the time wanted to do. And I think it helped. And the fact that he gave us his blessing, like that, oh yeah, this actually sounds awesome that you guys play it like this and that you do this. Like, I think that actually, it definitely encouraged us a lot.
So he liked that also. See, one thing I'm always afraid of when I hear artists like are going to be doing a cover tune is, I've seen it sometimes where it's almost like a karaoke song where like they try to do it exactly like it and they don't put any of their own spin on it. And when I heard your version, I was like, oh my God, I gotta talk to her. And that's when I
Oh, thank
got a
you.
hold of you. God, I think it was Twitter, man. I don't
Yeah,
do that.
Twitter.
I don't do that on Twitter, but I didn't have any other way of getting a hold of you because
Hey, listen,
I
it
was
worked.
it did work. You're here, and thank you so much. I think it's
Of
kind of
course.
funny on your Facebook, you list yourself as your current location, New York City, LA. Okay,
Well,
how
because
in the hell does
yeah.
that work?
So I, before all of, traveling kind of stopped, I used to go back and forth a lot. So even though I'm from New York, born and raised New York City, I'm an East Coast girl all the way. I was spending a lot of time, I have been over the past few years in LA, working on my music. And so up until recently, I really did split my time between the two. And now I'm
Okay.
just now it's just New York, so I should probably update that. But LA has a special place in my heart as well, even though New Yorker through and through.
Well, then New Yorker through and through, but come on, don't tell me you were out there for how long? So it's like you got some
A
LA
few
in
months at a
you.
time, but I always came home. Like I never went there for more than maybe like 4 months at a time without making sure I came back to the East Coast. Like I
Okay.
don't know what it is. So as much as I tour and I travel and I love, like there's so many amazing cities and towns in this country and in the world, to go and to live for a while. Um, I don't think I'll ever really leave, as a permanent, area like the New York area. I'm so connected to it that I think it'll always be some sort of, home in one way or another.
It'll always okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We received an email here, so I'm going to throw a cliche question at you.
Okay.
I normally try not to do the cliche stuff and try to
Okay.
have more a conversational thing, but the email was really short and sweet. Said,
Okay.
ask her why the name Madame Mayhem.
Okay, that's fair. That is a fair and good question.
Okay.
So there's two reasons for the name. So the first easiest answer to this is my mom named me twice. So she gave me my birth name, and my parents came up with the name Madame Mayhem because whether I caused it or not, mayhem seemed to follow
So-
me everywhere I went, especially in the beginning of my career. Like something would always, just some sort of disaster, whether it was a natural disaster or just, it was never easy. And I know obviously career wise, nothing's ever easy, especially in this, but I'm talking like random acts of what is going on. So that's how it came to be. And as I took on the name and really became, Madame Mayhem, it really is, with all the chaos and everything that goes on. I deal with anxiety, and I'm a very stressed out person, and it's just something that I deal with a lot. And it's kind of being able to take control of the madness of that mayhem that is surrounding you, and really owning it, and trying to turn that chaos that surrounds you and that mayhem that you're dealing with, and turn it into something positive, turn it into something, like, know that it's there, but know that you can handle it and you can rule over it. And that's really what Madame Mayhem has become in terms of the name.
So the mayhem that you're talking about that was following you, was that a negative or positive or
It
kind
was
of a mix?
both. But now, taking anything, whether it's negative or positive, and just kind of being able to not have it overwhelm me, and just kind of being able to control it, and kind of be on top of it, and channel that mayhem into something creative, and channel it into something that makes me feel strong, and that's really what it has become. So
So
knowing that the mayhem is there, but channeling it, in the right way.
okay, all right. You just said that because I was just gonna say, do you feed off that
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
since it is
sometimes. Yeah, you can't help it. It's there.
what I hear a lot of different things in your music.
Hmm.
And is there a certain force that drives you?
That's a good one. I mean, for me, I want to make music that I am passionate about, that I would want to hear in the car, and I don't want to hear the same thing twice. That's
Okay.
in general, like from any band, there are a lot of bands and artists that there's a lot of similarities because, if you're the
Yeah.
writer and you're the performer and you have a certain voice or you have a certain thing that you gravitate towards, there's always going to be some sort of consistency. But I love changing it up a little bit every time so that it kind of gives the listener something new and a little bit of a surprise with every song. And it's not going to be the same song every single time
It's
something gets
very,
released.
it's very interesting that you say that because I was talking to somebody else about that and changing up a little bit. And that I don't know, I myself, and I'm sure there are more people that think this way also. I don't want to go and hear 11 radio hits in a row at a
Right.
show. I want to hear what the artist can actually do. So
Hmm. I
can
agree.
can you give me what are some things that like I or others will see at a Madame Mayhem show? Do you have any
Yeah.
talents? Do
Yeah.
you have
Well, I mean, you're
voice love?
going to see a whole lot of energy. That's for sure. My bands and we like to, I mean, we give it 200% out of 100 on stage. There's a lot of running around, a lot of dancing around. I'm a performer, a singer first and foremost, songwriter, but I am a performer. I grew up actually in the musical theater world. And so,
Okay.
being from New York, so that's kind of where they throw you when you say, I want to do music. They're like, cool. And they kind of throw you into this musical theater thing. Even though I've always wanted to perform rock music and write rock music. But so through that, it's always going to be a performance. It's always going to be an entertaining show. So that's always going to be that. And the also great thing is, my band and I sing. That's my thing. It's real vocals, and my guys who do backup vocals, they can sing, and so it's
Usually.
real, and they can play their instruments, and it's real. And I think what's so cool is in an age where, yes, of course, there's a lot of, maybe there's synths in a song, or there's, a few little things that are
Yeah.
computers. That's okay. But as long as the bulk of your music is, for me personally, I'm not judging anyone else, but I think the art of actually performing live is huge, and it's very important. And so with us, you're always going to get a live show. And yes, if there's a little synth in the back, there's going to be a synth in the back. But for the most part, it's us, and it's raw, and it's real, and it's entertaining. And, I'm hitting all those notes that I'm hitting, on the record. So
I totally understand. I totally agree with you also. And I think it's kind of funny when I go to shows sometimes and I talk to people and they're like, "Oh man, they were great. Sounded just like the CD." I'm like, that's when I get a little bit hesitant.
right.
I'm like,
Yeah, the best compliment I've ever gotten is that we've sounded better than the CD, which is like maybe one of the greatest compliments I've ever heard. But then I was also like, oh God, do we have to redo that recording? But yeah.
And what about when you are on stage? How many times has it happened where you've had maybe like a positive mistake? Something happened where you're like, oh my God, this even makes this performance better than it was before.
Oh yeah, there's been a few of those for sure. Whether it was with me or with someone else in the band, whether it was like a different solo that kind of came out and no one was expecting it, and even the guy who did it was like, "Wait, what?" Just these, or like these weird pauses that have happened before. It's happened before. There's one song where, and the recording, there's kind of a little bit of an instrumental stop, but not completely, and the band, all of us just kind of felt like it was supposed to do that, even though the recording, it doesn't. And so everyone just kind of did it without saying anything. And then I just started singing. I was like, wait, where did everybody go? And then they all came in at the same time. And that was the best mistake ever, because now that's what we do on purpose live every time.
Every time.
Yes, every
and
time.
we make a mistake every time.
Yep.
So how much now you've had a couple tunes come out? How much are we going to look forward to in the future? Because I have a feeling in the back of my head that you're holding some stuff back for when touring starts up again in 2021.
How would you know that?
Well, I don't know. I just had this little inkling.
Yes.
So we have a lot more to look forward to.
There is a lot. Before our last tour was in February. So literally the month before everything shut down. But before that, we were recording a few songs for whether it was going to be an EP or a full length. We had a bunch of songs, and we just wanted to get those, in the can, and then do this tour in February, and then go back to writing and recording.
Okay.
And COVID and everything happened, and so we're still writing, of course, but we have music that, like Breaking Down was one of those songs that we released during this time to kind of give fans something to hold on to, like, hey, we're still here and you guys deserve this, and here you go. But we have a few more that are in the can that are ready to be released. And so we're just really trying to find that right moment. Hopefully 2021 is going to have a bunch of those, whether or not we're touring, as much as, the only thing I want to do is get back on the road. But, we will still be releasing that music, hopefully, if all goes as planned, and then, get back in the studio and finish up those other songs that we've been creating. So yes, there is a lot to look forward to in 2021 from us.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. What's your website address?
Yes, it's MadameMayhem.com. That's Madam with an E at the end.
Yes.
So very easy. And
is that, hey, I was having a discussion with somebody the other day about that. Is that like the French version spelling? Okay.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
I was like, is it Madam just...
My mom came up with the spelling, the proper, like what she thinks the proper spelling is. And you never mess with Mama Mayhem. So that's...
Well, at first I was like, wait a minute, is she Madame? What?
Have I been
calling her the wrong name all this time?
If I was French, then yes, it would be Madame, but I am from New York, and therefore this is the accent that comes out of my mouth.
Hey, you're Madam to me.
Yep.
You always will be. And I can't wait to get and see a show live. And you're all over the internet. You type in Madam with an E.
Yep.
Madame Mayhem.
Yep.
And all kinds of stuff will pop up, and people can follow it and follow